Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Srujan. I am a practicing cosmetic dentist and your mentor for the day. And the topic which we are going to learn today is the principles of cavity preparation for surgical management of carious lesion. So these are some of the factors or principles we need to remember whenever we are going to do caries excavation and cavity preparation. So basically what I'm going to do for you today is further break down page number 42 from this absolutely amazing book of Mind Maps and Notes by Medi. This book is definitely a lifesaver for a lot of students. It is very important that you have one. You can get this book from Amazon, Flipkart, Dental Cart, or directly from the official Medi site. So before we get into the details of the topic, I'm going to quickly introduce this topic for you. So whenever you're going to do cavity preparation, consider cavity preparation or caries excavation, there are 4 things you need to remember. IPAS. This is a short form which is going to help you remember all of these 4 principles. I stands for minimally invasive. P stands for preserving maximum amount of tooth structure. A is using adhesive techniques, and S stands for preserving enough tooth strength. So these 4 principles is everything we are going to understand today in this video. So the first one which we studied was minimally invasive procedure. So the access to the lesion, which is caries, should be conservative and only open as far as necessary to allow a clear vision. We do not need any retentive features or any wide cavities. The second point is preserving the dental tissue. Both of the first topics go hand in hand. So when we talk about preserving the tooth structure, again, retentive measures can be decreased. For example, dovetails or conventional class 1 cavity preparation, all of this can be avoided. For example, in this diagram here, I'm going to show you the cavity preparation. So in blue, what I have marked is the extent of caries. Let's say pit and fissure caries in this case. So the amount of cavity preparation and tooth structure preparation is going to be only up to the red border. We do not need any retentive features, and the reason why we do not need them brings us to the third principle, using adhesive techniques. Adhesive techniques can be used to create a clean dentin surface around the lesion. As we have studied in one of our previous videos, we need sound dentin. So with the help of this and using adhesive techniques, we definitely do not need any additional retentive features. Coming to the fourth and the last principle is maintaining the tooth strength. Now this again is somewhat similar to preserving tooth structure, because we need to limit the depth and extent of preparation to maintain the maximum strength in the remaining tooth crown. What I can tell you in short is the amount of remaining tooth structure directly affects the tooth strength, or the strength of restoration. So it is very important that you be very conservative and remove or prepare only the affected tooth structure. So another point we have on page number 42 is the factors which are going to affect our tooth preparation or the design of it. So what I'm going to do is explain this text with the help of a few examples. So the first one we have is diagnosis. Diagnosis is obviously a very important step and crucial step. So whenever we diagnose, we can see different conditions in the tooth. We can see pulpal and periodontal conditions, or the occlusal relationships, for example, adhesion and all. So all of this is basically going to directly affect the amount of tooth structure or the cavity design which we are going to produce, because this affects till what depth we need to go, how much amount of RDT, which is remaining dentin thickness, we want, again, the depth of cavity and much more. Coming to the second factor is knowledge of dental anatomy. So when we talk about dental anatomy, we are not just talking about cusps and fissures. We are talking about the direction of enamel rods, which start from the dentino-enamel junction and end at the top layer of enamel. So the thickness, other than this, the thickness and the thickness of enamel layer or the dentine layer, the size and position of pulp, relationship of the tooth to supporting tissues, all of these things may, directly or indirectly, uh, you know, affect our tooth preparation or cavity preparation. And we can get to know about the pulp position and the extent of it only with the help of x-rays. So enamel rods also, by the way, they cannot be diagnosed with the help of x-rays, but obviously it is a very generalized direction in all the teeth. We have covered this topic in one of our previous videos related to enamel rods and the cavo surface margins. So if you haven't watched that video yet, I would suggest you check out that video after watching this video, obviously, from the official Medi Study Go YouTube channel. Here we also post informative videos related to other subjects as well. And the whole aim of creating all of these videos is providing, best the most easiest possible explanations for all the dental students. And so that is one of the reasons this is completely free to use for all of us. So you should definitely check out the official YouTube channel. This is definitely going to help you. Now coming to the third point, which is patient knowledge. And under this, we can consider the age of patient, the economic status, the aesthetic considerations, whether the cavity is on front tooth or the posterior tooth, and the patients with high risk caries, where we might need to prepare more to avoid secondary caries. So, another point is when we talk about the economic status, we also are going to choose different types of restorative materials. We might use GIC, we might use composites, we might use indirect, inlays, onlays, or tabletop restorations. So in order to, decide this, we need to know about the economical status of the patient as well. Also, this, different materials is also going to cause different cavity designs. That's why this is going to affect our tooth preparation. Coming to the fourth point, which is conservation of tooth structure, which we have gone through. So we basically have to be very cautious. Minimal extension of tooth preparations, supragingival margins, rounded line angles. All of these factors can be present if in case there are defects on cervical 1/3, we might need to, extend to supragingival or subgingival margins and all of those things. So another point here is we do not have to follow the conventional cavity preparation always, which we have been studying since our second years. We need to only work on the affected tooth structure. And the last factor which can affect our cavity preparation is the restorative material which we are going to use. The affected and infected dentin, amalgam restorations, or composite restorations. All of this can cause change in our cavity designs, which we have already studied in the third point. So now let us go through a few questions which is going to help us revise this topic. So the first question we have is, what is the principle of access during surgical management of a carious lesion? Now whenever we hear the word access and caries excavation, we definitely need to think about being minimally invasive. We need to prepare only the tooth surface enough for us to have access to the infected or affected dentin, and just enough for our restorative material to go inside. So these are the few points. Let us look at the answer. Access to the lesion should be conservative and only open as far as necessary to allow clear vision. This, by the way, what I have marked in red is called a flashcard. This is going to be super helpful for you for quick revisions right before your exam. If you want access to more of such flashcards, consider downloading the official Medi Study Go app, which is available on both iOS and Android. You'll get access to mind maps, notes, videos, flashcards, MCQs, and so much more. It is very important for you to download this now. Another amazing point about this app is that you do not have to additionally pay for anything. You get free credits with the help of which you can unlock all the materials, all the flashcards, all the topics, all the books, which, by the way, you can get by regularly opening the app, using the app, maintaining a streak or something like that. So do not worry about paying anything additional. Now, finally, as we come to the end of this video, I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the official YouTube channel. Thank you so much and happy learning.